Hello and welcome. Today we are going to dive into something that, let's be honest, every single one of us deals with: fear. What if the biggest thing holding you back wasn't your job or your bank account or your skills, but just fear? Let's explore a really powerful way to look at this and see how we can go from being stuck in fear to walking in total freedom. So I want you to take a moment and really genuinely think about this question. What has fear stopped you from doing? Maybe it was that dream job you never even applied for because you were afraid of being told no. Or maybe it was a tough conversation you just kept putting off, afraid of the conflict. Or, hey, maybe it's that huge, bold step of faith you're supposed to take, but that voice of the unknown is just deafening. Fear is so good at building these invisible walls around our absolute best life. And this right here is really the whole point of our time together. The idea is that everything God has for you is on the other side of fear. Wow, just think about that for a second. That single idea raises the stakes so high. It's basically saying that the very things we were made for, our purpose, our calling, it's all just waiting for us right past that wall of anxiety and worry. So the real question is, how in the world do we get past it?
Well, the answer doesn't start with us trying to be braver or trying harder. It actually starts with a foundational promise, a promise that you are not in this fight alone.
This is such a game changer. I think so many of us feel ashamed of our fear, right? Like it's some kind of spiritual failure or a sign of weakness. But this message here is one of incredible reassurance. God isn't looking down from a distance, shaking his head, disappointed in you. No, the opposite. He wants to get right down in the trenches with you and walk with you, step by step, through it all. It's a journey of partnership, not judgment. This idea is captured so perfectly in one of the most famous passages ever written, Psalm 23. It kicks off with this image of a shepherd. And a shepherd doesn't just yell directions from a hilltop. He leads, he protects, he makes sure the sheep have everything they need. He leads me beside still waters. That's not just pretty poetry. It speaks to this deep, soul-level peace and rest that we can have in his presence, even before we hit the scary parts. But the promise isn't that we get to skip the hard stuff. Notice the verse says, even though I walk through the dark valley. It's a given that dark valleys are going to be part of the journey. There will be times of intense fear, of loss, of just pure uncertainty. And yet, right in the smack dab middle of that darkness, the promise holds firm. I will fear no evil. But why? How's that even possible? Well, the verse tells us exactly why. And here's the crucial point. The dark valley is not your final destination. God isn't leading you to the valley to just leave you there. He is leading you through it. It's a pass-through. It's a temporary part of the journey on the way to something better. And just knowing that, well, it changes everything. It gives you this incredible hope that this scary place is not where your story ends. And here it is. The reason we can have that hope: for you are with me. It all comes back to his presence. And check this out. The rod and the staff, they weren't just for walking. The rod was basically a weapon to fight off predators, and the staff was a tool to guide the sheep and, get this, to hook them and pull them out of danger. They are symbols of active, hands-on protection and guidance. And that, the writer says, is what brings comfort. So when we talk about God's presence, what are we really talking about? It breaks down into these three amazing things. With his presence comes his power to do what you can't, his protection, shielding you from the dangers you face, and his provision, giving you exactly what you need for the journey. His presence is never passive. It's active, it's alive, and it's for you.
Okay, so we get the promise of his presence. That's awesome, but how do we actually feel that peace when our fear is just screaming in our ears? Well, let's get practical. Let's talk about a strategy that can change everything: shifting your focus.
This principle right here is so critical for all of life. Whatever you focus on, whatever you give your mental and emotional real estate to, that's what you end up empowering. So if your attention is always glued to your fears, you're literally giving them authority over your feelings, your choices, and your peace. But the good news is, the reverse is also true. This slide lays out the choice so clearly. On the left, you've got the storm. When you focus there, all you see are the giant waves, all you hear is the howling wind, all you feel is how overwhelming the whole thing is. It's all about the problem. But now, look at the right side. When you shift your focus to the rescuer, your whole perspective flips. You stop staring at the waves and start looking at the one who controls the waves.
You stop fixating on the wind and start thinking about the one who is so much greater. You stop being paralyzed by the situation and start looking to the one who can save you from it. And this is a real question for all of us. What's that wave or that storm that's been getting all your attention lately? Maybe it's a scary diagnosis, a financial nightmare, a relationship that's falling apart. I really want to encourage you, take a second and share it in the comments below. Let's make this a place where we can be real about the storms we're in, because I guarantee you, you're not the only one. And really, this is the bottom line for this whole section. This isn't about pretending your fear isn't real or that the storm isn't big. It is. The key is to remember and to keep reminding yourself that as big as your fear might feel, God is always, always bigger. So we've talked about His presence and shifting our focus. Now we're going to get to the very heart of what completely dismantles fear at its root. This isn't just a technique, it's a spiritual and emotional reality, the incredible power of perfect love. This verse from 1 John is just an absolute bombshell. It doesn't say perfect love helps you manage fear or that it lessens fear. It says it casts it out, like it throws it out the door. It's like flipping a light switch in a dark room. The darkness just has to go. Fear can't coexist with perfect love. But what exactly is this perfect love? So this slide breaks down the massive difference. The human love that we're all used to, well, it's often based on our performance, how well we do. It's based on feelings, which can change in a heartbeat. It comes and it goes. But God's perfect love, it's on a whole other level. It's not something you earn, it's lavished on us freely. It's not based on shifting emotions. It is unchanging and constant. It doesn't disappear when you mess up, it remains the same forever. And the foundation for this perfect love is your identity. The Bible says that if you have faith, you are a child of God, period. And I love how the verse says, and that's what we are. It's not just a nice thought, it's presented as a fact. Your identity is that you are His child. That means you're secure, you're cherished, you're protected by a perfect Father. And when you start living in that reality, that's when the fear starts to get cast out. Okay, this all leads us to a really crucial moment. It's one thing to understand all this in our heads, but to actually live it out, that takes a conscious decision. This brings us to the choice that's in front of all of us, the choice to move from a place of fear to a place of trust. This is another one of those ideas that can totally change how you see things. We tend to think the answer to fear is to just suck it up and be brave, to find more courage inside ourselves. But that's not what this is saying. The true opposite of fear is trust. See, courage is you trying to fight the storm on your own strength. Trust is handing the whole situation over to the one who controls the storm. One way leads to burnout, the other leads to peace. So how do we actually do that? How do we choose trust? Well, it really boils down to these 3 steps. First, you have to actively acknowledge who is really in control of everything. Spoiler alert, it's not you and it's not your problems. Second, especially for those of us who worry about what's coming, you remind yourself that you know the one who holds the future. When you trust the author, you don't have to be scared of the next chapter. And finally, step 3, you make a conscious decision to place your life, your worries, your future, all of it in His hands. All right, this is a bit of a deeper question, and it might take some vulnerability. But what is that one thing that is the absolute hardest for you to let go of and truly trust God with? Is it your kids, your career, your health, your future? Please, if you feel comfortable, share it in the comments. But even more important, as you read what other people write, if you see someone struggling, leave them a word of encouragement. Let's make this a space where we build each other up. Because at the end of the day, trust is a declaration. It's a choice you make. It's a line you draw in the sand. It's looking your fear right in the eye and saying, like in Psalm 91, He is my God and I will trust in Him. It's an act of your will and it's powered by faith. And when you start to live in His presence and you shift your focus and you receive His love and you choose trust, something amazing starts to happen. Your whole identity begins to change. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of fear and you start seeing yourself as something else entirely. All right, I want you to let this final progression really sink in. The logic here is so simple and yet so powerful. Your identity is tied to His. So, because He is victorious over sin, death, every single thing you could ever be afraid of, that means you, because you're with Him, are victorious too. And it keeps building because He is triumphant, having completely defeated every enemy. You, united with Him, you share in that triumph. This isn't about you watching His victory parade from the sidewalk. You are in the parade. It's not a victory you have to go out and earn, it's a victory you simply get to receive. And here's the incredible climax, because he is the ultimate conqueror. The Bible calls you more than a conqueror. What on earth does that even mean? It means you don't just squeak by and win the battle. No, you win by such an overwhelming landslide that you actually walk away with the spoils of victory. You become stronger, richer, and better because of the very thing that was meant to take you out.
So we're going to end with this one last question for you to carry with you. Knowing all this, that God is with you, that his perfect love drives out fear, that your identity is more than a conqueror. Who will you be tomorrow? How are you going to walk differently? What will you say? What bold decisions will you make now that you can step out from the shadow of fear and into this incredible identity?
Hey, if this was inspiring for you, it would mean the world if you would hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, Be Thankful. And if you know somebody who's really wrestling with fear, feel free to share this with them. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.